Am I audible now? Please say yes or no. Am I audible now? Yes. Okay. So, good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. And let us start the session with a nice quote. What is today's quote? There are no secrets to success. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Third one is very important. It's an open secret. What is the no secrets to success? In a way, it is an open secret. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. So, very useful while preparing for competitive exams. And coming to today's editorial, it is all about the impact of development on hill states, to be very specific, and the devastating impact of development. Then today you're going to work on important questions. All these questions are from IBPS clerk prelims point of view. Let us go to the editorial and let us start the session with editorial vocabulary. And today from this editorial, a lot of a lot of words are there. Effective vocabulary. The first one, factoring in. What does it mean, factor in? Factor has got many meanings. I'm sure you guys know important factors, important aspects. But here, factor in is a phrasal verb. So you got to be careful. You have to differentiate the word between the word factor and also the phrasal verb factor in. So what does it mean, factor in? Consider as relevant when making a decision. You consider something relevant when you take a decision or at the time of taking a decision, then it is called factor in, an important word. And this we got once or twice, again, an important one. Bode well, usually it has a positive connotation, it may have a negative connotation. So, what does it mean? Bode, it's a verb to be a sign of something that will happen in future, usually positive. It could be positive, it could be negative. So to be a sign of something that will happen in the future. Bode well, used in the editorial. Devastating, we have got many a time part of speech adjective. What does it mean? Highly destructive or damaging. Something is devastating, then we say it is highly destructive. Usually this word goes with a natural calamity. The next one, torrential. And there is one idiomatic expression, torrential, herald has a positive connotation, don't you? But both, it could be positive, it could be negative. So you got to be a little careful with the word herald that has a positive connotation completely. Torrential rains, there is one idiomatic expression. When it rains heavily, there are two idioms. One, we say it is raining cats and dogs. Another idiomatic expression, it is raining in torrents. Rain in torrents means heavy rain. Rain, cats and dogs, heavy rain. But here, torrential rains, part of speech adjective. Torrential used to refer to very heavy rain. Based on that, we get, yes, those words are very useful. Torrential. Arterial, usually this goes with arteries in the body. We have veins and arteries carry blood, good blood, bad blood. But here this goes with roads, arterial roads. Part of speech adjective denoting an important route in a system of roads, railway lines or rivers. Usually it goes with roads. Debris, the letter S is silent. Debris, usually whenever there's a crash, a plane crash, we use the word debris. And ship wreckage also, we use the word debris. The letter S is silent. Debris means part of speech noun, scattered. Your blood has only good, your body has only good blood. Scattered pieces of rubbish or remains. The scattered pieces, when there's a plane crash, the parts of the plane get scattered all over. And those pieces, scattered pieces of rubbish, not exactly rubbish, remains of a plane, we use the word debris. And also this word you have to recollect, wreck, shipwreck, wreckage. Wreckage also the parts of the ship or a boat, we use the word debris. Toll, part of speech noun, it has two or three meanings, but in this context, it refers to the number of deaths or casualties arising from a natural disaster, conflict, or accident. Usually, we use a adjective death toll means what? The number of deaths, and because of a disaster, natural disaster, or an accident. In this context, a natural disaster. Chaos, we have got many a time. I'm sure you guys know the word chaos, chaotic situation, pandemonium, very good, clamor, very good, and furor. And chaos means a chaotic situation. Chaos, noun, chaotic adjective, complete disorder and confusion. That's an important word. Compound, it has it has two or three meanings. One, it goes with numbers, but in this context as a verb. Compounded becomes an adjective. Make something worse. Compounded problems means they have become worse, bad to worse. Coming to the next word, vagaries. Usually it goes with nature. Sometimes it goes with a person's behavior. So, what exactly does it mean? A vagary, singular, vagaries, plural. An unexpected and inexplicable. Something cannot be explained. Change in a situation or in someone's behavior. Something happens all of a sudden and you cannot explain. Inexplicable, that's an important word. We use a word vagaries of nature, a typical combination, and that goes with this context as well. Disrupt, we have got many a time. I'm sure you guys know the meaning. It should be at your fingertips. Something has disrupted. Disrupt, interrupt. Interrupt to what? An event, activity, or process by causing a disturbance or problem. Heavy rains, obviously, the normal lifestyle is disrupted. Drought, we have got many a time. Part of speech noun, a prolonged period of abnormally low rainfall, scanty rainfall, or no rainfall for a long period. We use the word drought. Leading to obviously no rainfall, it results in shortage of water. Adhere takes a preposition to. Adhere to rules and regulations, a typical combination. And adhere means what? Believe in and follow the practices of. You can also think of the word stick to, adhere to, stick to. More words, sapling, singular, saplings, plural. A young tree, a young plant, especially one with a slender trunk. Usually, when people talk about greening a particular place, they distribute the saplings. Next, this also we have got a few times. Perish, part of speech verb. Die, especially in a violent or sudden way. Not exactly sudden, violent, but die because of a particular factor. In this context, in a violent or sudden way, perish. And you have to recollect the combination. While exporting, you come across on the products a particular label. What is that label? Perishable goods or perishable products. Means within no time they get spoiled. Then, especially seafood, we use perishable products. Debilitate, an important word, though we have got once or twice. Debilitate means weaken, to make someone very weak, infirm, and inform is different, infirm is different. Here you can remember weaken someone, debilitate, make someone very weak, an important word. Terrain goes with geology and geography, a familiar word, a stretch of land, especially with regard to its physical features. Terrain. Inevitable, we have got many a time. Something is inevitable. Part of speech adjective. Certain to happen, unavoidable. Something is inevitable. Your success is inevitable. Means it is going to happen sooner or later. No one can stop, nothing can stop. Vulnerable, exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. Someone is in a weak situation and likely to get attacked or harmed. Then we say vulnerable people, vulnerable situation. These are the typical combinations. Fury has got two different meanings. One meaning anger. Someone is very angry, we use the word fury. But in this context, another meaning extreme strength or violence in an action or a natural phenomenon. You can also nature's fury. You can also use nature's fury means what? Nature's. anger, extreme strength or violence. That's also an important word. Whenever there's a natural disaster, certain lexical terms are there. What is the meaning of lexical terms? Related words related to a particular topic. So, whenever we talk about a natural disaster, we use words like the impact, devastating impact, and evacuate, rehabilitate. These are the typical words and work on war footing. You have to have all the words at your fingertips. So, what does it mean? Evacuate, part of speech verb. Remove someone, usually a lot of people, from a place of danger to a safer place. They are evacuated. And rehabilitate, part of speech verb. Restore someone to health or normal life by training and therapy after imprisonment, addiction, or illness. After some sort of disturbance, we say rehabilitate. Usually, rehabilitation camps, they go with drug addiction. See, here you have a word addiction. Once someone gets addicted to drugs and the person wants to come out of that, then the person is taken to a rehabilitation center. Inherent quality, a typical combination, inherent quality, inherent part of speech adjective, existing in something as a permanent, essential, or characteristic attribute. You should also recollect words like inborn, innate, intrinsic. All these words are related. Inherent, intrinsic, innate, inborn, all these. And second nature, there is one idiomatic expression, second nature, part of someone's personality. Allied is a new word we have got for the first time. Part of speech verb to suppress, omit, ignore. But in this context, more than ignore, suppress or not even omit, suppress information. Tender as an adjective, a different meaning. I'm sure you guys know tender coconut, tender age. So tender means delicate, not completely mature. And as a verb, it has a different meaning. Tender is also a noun, different meaning. They have called for tenders. They have asked for tenders. So tender as a verb to give or offer something, a different meaning altogether. So many words, and a few words are new words. Now let us go to the editorial. How does it start? Factoring in the risk. I should have brought this also in red because it is a phrasal verb. Don't isolate the word factor, then you don't get the exact meaning of the word factor. Try to read it as factor in. Yes, legal tender. Factor in, a phrasal verb. What does it mean? Consider as relevant when making a decision. While making a decision, you consider something relevant, then it is known as factor in. In this context, consider what? The risk. You may not understand because you have to read the next sentence, only then you can. As I said, this editorial is all about the impact of development, especially on hill states in the north. So when you read the next sentence, how does it go? Development of mountain areas, hill states, over the years has upset the ecological balance. Development obviously it makes an impact, usually a negative impact. And if one considers a risk and plans accordingly, the negative impact can be reduced to a great extent. Still, once we talk about development or modernization, the impact is going to be inevitable, and that is usually negative. But based on that, today we talk about sustainability, sustainable practices, and sustainable development goals, all these. Development of mountain. Development is inevitable. We cannot stop development. But development of mountain areas over the years has upset. Here it is in has upset. Present perfect has upset what? Something has upset. What has upset? Development of mountain areas over the years has upset the ecological balance, the ecology, the ecosystems, ecological balance has got upset because of development. Easy to understand. So here, two things are inevitable. One, development, we have to develop. It is always progressive. If you look at the history of mankind, we cannot stop development. At the same time, this development should not be at the cost of the ecological balance. We have to take care of ecological balance at the same time, and that means what? While planning, we have to factor in the risk factor. We have to consider the risk factor. Accordingly, planning has to be done. All the words are easy to understand. Monsoon rainfall. So, what is the background? What is the backdrop? What is the stimulus to write this particular editorial? Monsoon rainfall over India is 8% more. This year it has been good, more than normal, 8% more than what it is usual for this time of the year. It is not over, monsoon is still on. Now, at this stage, 8% more than what it is usual for this time of the year. Monsoon rainfall over India is 8% more than what is usual for this time of the year. Easy to understand. That means excess. Normal, more than normal, 8% more than what is usual. While this might bode well for agriculture, more rain, who gets benefited? Obviously, farmers and those are in agriculture, into agriculture. While this might, there's one important helping verb over here. Might is what is a function? It is used to express a possibility. Then you should wonder what is the difference between it may rain and it might rain. Both express possibility, but may chances are more, might chances are less. So here, while this might chances are less, I know. Today we talk about urban floods. That's a new phenomenon. While this might bode well, bode an important word. What does it mean? To be a sign of something that will happen in the future. And sign of something going to happen in future, it could be positive, it could be negative. But usually this particular word, it has a positive connotation. While this might bode well for agriculture in some regions because they need a lot of rain in some regions, not everywhere. It also means floods and concentrated downpours with devastating consequences. Anything excess, there's a saying in English, what is it? Too good is too bad. And excess rain is also, it goes with the same thing. Some areas it is good, and some areas it is not good. Some areas it is good, it bodes well for agriculture in some regions. A lot of water, plenty of water, definitely it is going to help the farmers. At the same time, it makes a negative impact in on certain other areas. It also means floods and concentrated downpours with devastating consequences. Heavy rain, imagine the impact is negative. It is going to be devastating. What does it mean, devastating? Highly destructive or damaging. Today we talk about urban floods. And here, floods, inundation, you have to recollect the word inundation, and consequences, you can think of the word ramifications, but that goes with a different context altogether. And these two words you have to focus on. What is the impact? Devastating consequences, line of thought continuity. At least 25 people were killed over the weekend as torrential rains triggered flash floods. Today we talk about urban floods, flash floods, cloudburst. These words have come into the limelight and these words have become buzzwords. Torrential rains, there's one important word. Torrential means what? Used to refer to heavy rain. And you have to recollect, as I have already said, rain, cats and dogs, rain in torrents. Torrential rains triggered flash floods and landslips. What does it mean, landslip? Usually this takes place when you go to a hilly region during the monsoon. Imagine soil and rocks coming down the slope. That is known as a landslip. Landslips are very common in the mountain states or hill states like Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. This sentence talks about the impact. Still with the impact, several arterial roads. Arterial in this context, it means important route in a system of roads. Arterial roads were blocked by debris. Debris means what? The remains of something, and usually it goes with, I have already said, a plane crash or shipwreckage, scattered pieces of rubbish or remains. In this context, natural disaster, scattered pieces of rubbish, you can say, or remains, whatever. Several arterial roads were blocked by debris as currents, water currents, washed away bridges and vehicles. Usually things get washed away. Today we come across something unusual. Bridges are getting washed away, and vehicles are very strong, heavy vehicles getting washed away. That is the power of water. Several arterial roads were blocked by debris as currents washed away bridges and vehicles. The toll was higher in Himachal Pradesh. So the word toll, death toll, it goes with the number of deaths or casualties because of a natural disaster in this context, or an accident, or a conflict, a war, you can say. The toll was higher in Himachal Pradesh, with 21 killed and 12 injured. 21 people got killed and 12 injured. At least six are missing due to chaos following the downpour. Very unfortunate. It happens regularly every year, year after year. 21 killed and 12 injured. At least six are missing. We don't know the whereabouts of those people due to what is the reason? Chaos, chaotic situation. Chaos, an important word. Complete disorder and confusion following the downpour. Downpour also means heavy rain. Mandi, Kangra, and Chamba were the worst affected districts in the state. Sometimes what happens, the entire state may not get affected. A few districts or few places get badly affected or worst affected, and these are the places in the state. While death and damage to property are the surface manifestation, immediate impact, what do you see? Heavy rains or heavy downpour, death and damage to property. One is death to people, damage to property, are the surface manifestation of these rains. On the surface, at the outset, obvious impact, death and damage to property of these rains. There are a range of secondary effects with long term downstream impact. Obvious impact, one thing. Besides that, you have a range of secondary effects. Here you got to be a little careful. You have to recollect the difference between affect and effect. Affect, a verb; effect, a verb as well as a noun, but usually it is used as a noun. Based on that, it is in the plural form over here. Effects with long term downstream impact. What are those secondary effects? Schools and transport facilities, for instance, for example, are immediately put out of action, leading to loss of productive hours. Immediate impact is one thing, and secondary effects. Schools and transport facilities, for instance, are immediately put out of action. Out of action, an important phrase. And that leads to what? Leading to loss of productive hours. A lot of productive hours are lost. Cattle and saplings. Cattle, you all know. Cattle and saplings. But here you have to recollect one rule. What is that rule? It goes with nouns. Some nouns are always in the singular form but take a plural verb. And I usually give five examples. Exam point of view, very important. Cattle, poultry, gentry, vermin, and clergy. All the five examples are important. They are singular. They have the singular form but take a plural verb. That rule you have to recollect. Cattle and saplings. What does it mean, sapling? A young tree or a young plant are left to perish, die, especially in a violent or sudden way, which in turn destroys. When cattle die, and saplings, more than saplings in this context, cattle, which in turn destroys livelihoods, debilitates family finances, and strains the finances of the state exchequer. Not only the individuals, the state also gets badly affected. So the sentence talks about the negative impact of heavy downpour or torrential rains. Cattle and saplings are left to perish. Impact of that destroys livelihoods, debilitates, that's an important word. What does it mean? A weaken family finances and strains the finances of the state exchequer. It's a chain reaction on the negative side. The monsoon compresses around 75% of India's annual rainfall. Now, back to the monsoon and torrential rains. The monsoon compresses around 75% of India's annual rainfall into 4 months, usually monsoon. It is spread over 4 months, and the peak months, July and August. And unevenly waters countries' highly diverse terrain. Unevenly, not evenly, waters a country's highly diverse, different terrain. Terrain, again, an important word. It goes with geology and geography. What does it mean? A stretch of land, especially with regard to its physical features. It is therefore inevitable. We have got many a time. As I said, your success is inevitable. Sooner or later, it is going to happen. And believe in yourself. Inevitable, unavoidable, going to happen, certain to happen. that some spots are far more vulnerable. Entire country is not vulnerable. Some parts are vulnerable. Vulnerable, we have got many a time. And what does it mean? Exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, of being exploited, either physically or emotionally. In this context, the livelihoods get badly affected and bear a disproportionate impact of climate fury. Not proportionate, disproportionate impact of climate fury. Fury, an important word. It has got two different meanings. One meaning fury, anger, extreme anger. The other meaning, extreme strength or violence in an action or a natural phenomenon. In this context, the torrential rains. A recent report released by Himachal Pradesh's Department of Environment, Science and Technology underlines, emphasizes that mountain areas are highly vulnerable to natural disasters. Certain areas are more vulnerable. Mountain areas are highly vulnerable to natural disasters, where development over the years has compounded the problem by upsetting the ecological balance of various physical processes. What does it mean? As such, mountain areas are highly vulnerable, and that is a problem. And if you imagine there's a lot of development over there, this development, where development over the years, not all of a sudden, not overnight, over the years has compounded. That's an important word. A word. Compounded here means what? Make something worse, something bad, make it worse. Compounded the problem. How did it compound? By upsetting the ecological balance of various physical processes. When the ecological balance is upset, obviously the impact is going to be negative. While hill states such as Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand have certain unique challenges, usually the terrain, lowland areas, different challenges, usually no challenges, but mountain regions or hill states, they have unique challenges. Same thing goes with Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. While hill states such as Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand have certain unique challenges, unique, one of its kind. And again, you have to recollect the rule. Before certain words, though they begin with a vowel letter, we don't use the indefinite article and, we use a unique. What is the reason? The word begins with a consonantal letter or a consonantal sound. Here it is a consonantal sound. Because of that, we don't say and, we say a unique person. Here, unique challenges. The threats from the vagaries of climate. Vagaries, again, an important word. What does it mean? Unexpected and inexplicable change in a situation or in someone's behavior. In this context, the situation of climate are not unique to them. Others also experience. Monsoon rain patterns are being disrupted. Rain patterns, we all know that today the patterns have changed. Various factors. One of the factors, climate change. Monsoon rain patterns are being interrupt, leading to a rise in cloudburst like events, as well as a rise in the frequency of high energy cyclones and droughts. As well as, I think you have got a question based on this recently. When you use expressions like with, together with, along with, as well as, the verb agrees with the first subject. So, as well as a rise in the frequency of high energy cyclones and droughts. Drought, we have got many a time, excuse me. What does it mean? A prolonged period of abnormally low rainfall. No rainfall for a long time, we use, that results in scarcity of water, shortage of water. We use the word drought. Now, what is the solution? One strategy adopted by the government has been to improve the system of early warning forecasts. Imagine early warning forecast is there. Then obviously the government officials, those who deal with the disaster management people, they can reduce the impact, negative impact. And what is the role? Here, editorial mentions the role of IMD. The India Meteorological Department now provides fortnightly, 2 weeks, weekly, and even 3 hourly weather forecast to districts. That is something good, so that the officials, they can be alert and they can do something immediately. But there's a problem. What is the problem? Within these are integrated warnings about flash floods and lightning. They talk about the impact of the cloudbursts, all those things. And within these are integrated warnings about flash floods and lightning. Not all of these are accurate. There's a problem, I said. What is the problem? The information is not, all of that is not accurate. Accurate means correct, authentic. Not all of these are accurate, and often they are not provided early enough for authorities to prepare themselves. They're provided early, but not early enough for authorities to prepare themselves. Here again, there's one important word. The word enough can be an adjective, it can be an adverb. As an adjective, it is not important from the exam point of view, but as an adverb, it is important. It comes after the adjective, early enough, big enough, rich enough. So, early enough for authorities to prepare themselves. In recent years, improvements in early warnings for incoming cyclones have helped state agencies evacuate and rehabilitate the most vulnerable, but such success hasn't been observed for floods. Certain natural disasters, especially cyclones, the disaster management teams have been successful, the state governments have been successful, but when it comes to uh, floods, they haven't been successful. The sentence talks about that. In recent years, improvements in early warnings for incoming cyclones have helped state agencies evacuate and rehabilitate. Evacuate means shift, and rehabilitate, provide restore to health or normal life, and to take them to a place where they don't have any problems. The most vulnerable already have got the meaning, but such success hasn't been observed for floods. Floods, they haven't been successful. How does the editorial end? While the inherent risks, inbuilt, intrinsic, innate risks of infrastructure development in hills and unstable terrain is well understood, these are often elided by authorities. There is one important word, and we have got this word for the first time. Allied, you have to remember what does it mean? To suppress information. These inherent risks of infrastructure development in hills and unstable terrain is well understood. It's a known factor. These are often elided by authorities in the name of balancing the demands of the people for better infrastructure and services. People always demand for better infrastructure and services. In the name of balancing the demands of the people, they have been or they have elided, who elided the authorities. They increase the risk and cost to such projects and infrastructure should be factored in when they are tendered. The main idea, they increase the risk and cost to such projects and infrastructure should be factored in, considered when they are tendered, give or offer, tendered out by the government. And scientific advice regarding development ought to be strictly adhered to, stick to. And here there is one helping verb, ought to. There are two helping verbs you have to recollect. I have said many a time. Should and ought to. Ought to, it has become outdated, but still it is being used in this part of the world. That's a different thing. Old English, ought to, formal, should, informal. Function, used to advise or suggest someone. But now, formal or informal, not in this part of the world, people use should. Here, ought to means it goes with formal English. The function, it is used to advise or suggest. Obviously, it goes with the context. So that's all about this editorial. It has taken almost 35 minutes. Usual time is 20-25. Anyhow, I hope you have got enriched. And let us have a quick look at the questions based on this editorial comprehension skill point of view. What is this editorial about? What has upset the ecological balance? Always focus on the key words. What is inevitable in the context of the editorial? What has helped the state agencies evacuate and rehabilitate the most vulnerable? Easy to answer. What are often elided by authorities in the name of balancing the demands of the people? Elided by, an important word. Yes. Now let us go to important questions. Some of these questions are from previous year's papers, IBPS clerks, prelims point of view. And someone requested, sir, try to bring tough questions, mains point of view. I will bring after, I think we have IBPS prelims, the first date, August 28th. Then we have 3rd and 4th September. After that, I'll bring mains level questions. So you have to wait till that time. And also, one more thing I would like to tell you guys, here we have heterogeneous group. That means some are beginners, some are intermediate, some are advanced. We have to strike a balance. Easy, moderate, difficult depends on the individual. I always keep in mind the overall group and bring the questions. Now, have a look at these, but before you have a look, I would like to talk about what exactly you're supposed to do. Here you have, this is a new pattern, vocabulary based. You have a blank, you have three words. Of the three words, one word may go with the blank, or two words, or three, all the three words. Options are there, or none of these. So you got to read, understand the context, and you have to be good at vocabulary. Only then you can choose the correct option. Please read question number one. No, Maharashtra has been here. It could be either present perfect continuous, or it could be present perfect in passive voice. Here, Maharashtra has been investigated. Why will a state get investigated? No, into a new party system. That doesn't go with the context. We cannot use the word investigated, though it is grammatically correct. Please listen very carefully. Because a few students have said investigated, that is not right. Maharashtra has been investigated. Usually, investigation goes with an individual's wealth, a state, a company, an organization. A state, in the sense, not this state, a state or a situation. Here, Maharashtra, no, not correct. Maharashtra has been transitioning. Then here the verb is in transitioning, it's a verb, ing form. Then you have to tell yourself has been changing, means present perfect continuous. This can be, what does it mean? Changing into a new party system, has been changing into something else, acceptable contextually and grammatically, has been framing into a new party system. No, framing does not go with the context. Has been framing into, not correct. Based on that, answer is only the second option. Which option says that? Again, you got to check the options. B is the answer. All this is only to put a lot of pressure on the candidates. You have to spend more time on one question, more pressure. The theme song of Downtown Abbey. This is a serial, an important one, and they all speak very good English from the UK. The theme song of Downtown Abbey, along with a panoramic shot of the imposing monarchic structure, is enough to memories, evoke memories, recall memories, scent memories, to scent. This is not grammatically correct. At the outset, try to use your grammar knowledge, vocabulary knowledge, and eliminate. Evoke means to bring into existence. So you can use the word evoke and recall, enough to recall memories. This is also you can use. That means what? You can use a first word, you can use a second word, evoke, recall. So 1 and 2, which option says 1 and 2? D is the answer. Again, you have to check. You got to be alert, you got to be focused. That is very important. And if you lose your focus, it's gone. With tomato and onion prices continuing to soar, the center is considering soar, go up in this context. The center is considering to increase cultivation of these staple vegetables in the North Indian region, staple food used by a lot of people. So, what is the right word? The center is considering a proposal, a role to increase. Role does not go with the context. A novel, it is an adjective. Considering a novel idea would have been better, means something new. But here you don't see the noun, this is an adjective. You have to use a noun in this context, and proposal. It's a noun, it goes with the context as well. Based on that, answer is what? Only the first one. A is the answer. Perfect. I appreciate that. The railways will speed up trains to reduce running time and maximize. Maximize what? Collecting of infrastructure. Infrastructure you build, you don't collect. That is not relevant over here. Maximize effectiveness of infrastructure. Yes, you can use. Maximize utilization of infrastructure. Beyond any doubt, you can use effectiveness of infrastructure, maximize, and maximize utilization of infrastructure. Both the words can be used. Based on that 2 and 3, which option says 2 and 3? C is the answer. Please look at the question number, fourth one. C, very good. I appreciate. Tapa, that's really good. After that, Suresh, yes, a lot of students. I appreciate all of them. There could be more interest rate. This you have to answer, banking aspirants, bank aspirants. There could be more interest rate. Increment does not go with the context. Interest rate increment, not the right combination. Interest rate cuts seems right. Interest rate growths by the RBI. Growths we don't use. So what is the word? There could be more interest rate cuts. Interest rate cuts by the RBI, as some of the members of the Monetary Policy Committee have observed that growth is yet to bottom out. Obviously, only the second option, B, is the answer. Very good. You have to get it right, this one. That's all about the first set. Now, this is the second set. Listen to the instructions. You have 4 words in red, and they may not be correctly placed. So you have to read, understand the context, you have to know the meanings of the words, and you have to find out whether the words have been correctly placed or not. Try to read. Please don't use V1, V2, V3 in my presence. Mention the exact form. Why this past participle form? Today, thermal accounts. This is an adjective, and accounts. In this context, it's a verb, and it doesn't go with an adjective. Not right. So at the outset, you have to feel a little disturbed. It is not the right one. Thermal what? Generation capacity. Already here in the sentence itself, we have generation capacity. That's a clue for you. Let us consider this. Today, thermal generation capacity here accounts for about two-thirds the installed generation capacity in the country. That means what? You have to change the positions of A and B. So what is the answer? Answer is AB. Generation capacity. Already the expression has been used in the sentence. That way it is an easy one, provided you read meticulously. Now let us go to the IMF, International Monetary Fund, followed the World Bank in reducing its forecast for India's economic growth in the current financial year. The IMF followed verb, the World Bank, subject, verb, object, here, nothing wrong. In doing what? In reducing its forecast for India's economic growth, no problem. In the current financial year, no problem. So what does it mean? The sentence is correct. You don't have to touch any word. In pursuit of novel ways, as I said, novel is an adjective, innovative, something new, ways. We need a noun after that. In pursuit of novel ways to draw caught. To draw caught doesn't make any sense. Usually we say draw attention or catch attention. Here, draw attention, let us see. In pursuit of novel ways, nothing wrong here. To draw attention to the big prize, the Academy seems to have been caught on the wrong foot again. Obviously, we have to change B and D. Which option says B, D? Answer is C. Draw attention. That's a typical expression. Catch attention, draw attention. And here, to have been caught, catch, caught on the wrong foot. That is again a standard expression. Caught on the wrong foot means catch someone when someone has made a mistake. With power growth, the demand for economic in India, something is wrong. With power growth, the demand for, you have to tell. Demand for what? The demand for power in India is only going to increase further. Obviously, here with economic growth, economic adjective, growth noun, with economic growth, the demand for nothing wrong here, power, demand for something, what? Power in India is only going to increase further. That means we have to change the positions of A and C. Answer is B. That's right. The air quality index of Delhi worsened slightly and expected in the poor category. Expected to be in the poor category would have been better. But here you don't see to be. Expected, no, stayed in the poor category and is expected to further deteriorate. Expected to, you need the preposition to. Based on that, here we have to expected, stayed, let us change, further deteriorate from the last week of the month. Nothing wrong here. The air quality index of Delhi worsened slightly and stayed in the poor category and is expected to further deteriorate from the last week of the month. Here we have to change BC. What is the answer based on that? C is the answer. You have, yesterday someone requested, sir, please bring Cloze Test. This is a Cloze Test from one of the previous year's papers, IBPS clerk. You may wonder, you may ask, sir, why do you bring questions from previous year's papers? The reason is quite obvious. When you work on, I always tell my students, before taking the exam, you have to spend time on all the previous year's papers. Only then you understand the standards of the exam, one thing, and based on the score you get, you understand where exactly you stand, whether you're ready for the exam or not. So, this is exam standards, IBPS clerk prelims point of view. 2 decades have passed since the midday meal became a part of the daily routine in government schools nationwide. In this long passage of time, procedures have, here you have the word have. That means it could be in present perfect, but don't conclude immediately. There's a possibility. If it is in present perfect, then you need a verb in past participle form. Balances is not a verb. Have balance is grammatically not correct. Have stabilized, it's a verb. Have persistent, again not a verb, cannot be. And stabilizing, have stabilizing, grammatically not correct. So none of these again not correct. There's one word you can use. What is that word? Stabilized. The procedures have stabilized. Perfect. No problem whatsoever. Answer is B. Throughout, you have to understand the context. Here it is a bit difficult because I can present only a bit part of the text. But still, based on the sentence, you can. The latest in mid meal stories concerns milk. Not easy to make out. You have to look at the next sentence. Government norms entitle every child to receive 150 ml of milk as part of the midday meal. However, a video revealed recently how 1 liter of milk was mixed in a bucket full of water. Something went wrong. The context talks about something negative. Then, based on that, the latest stained does not go with the context. The latest stain has 2 or 3 meanings. Not strain, stain. Stain means a spot. Stains on shirt. Retaliate, give back. Negative word. Accusations. The latest accusations in mid-meal stories concerns milk. This seems right. Hold this one. The latest blunder. Blunder, no. It talks about a particular scheme, and a particular scheme usually either the scheme, how it is done, accused, or the persons involved, accused. And here the noun accuse is a verb, accusation, plural form, accusations. The latest accusations in mid-meal stories concerns milk. They shouldn't have used the word. Still you can, but singular would have been better. The concern, something concerns. Here, the verb has taken the letter S. That comes with a lot of students can identify the spelling errors, but appropriate word or inappropriate word, that is a higher level. That's why they have mixed two or three questions based on spellings, misspelled words, two or three questions based on inappropriate words. And your question, how to do that, how to find out, you have to read a lot. When you are exposed to the language, obviously, you will be able to make out the appropriate word. However, a video revealed recently how 1 liter of milk was mixed in a bucket full of water so that it would be enough for the more than 80 children present that day in a school in rural Uttar Pradesh. So here the context talks about something would be sufficient. Based on that, you cannot use the word assent to give the assent approval, not correct. Patriotism, not at all relevant. It would benefit for the more than benefit for, it cannot be used, not the right combination. None of these. What is the right word? Suffice for the more than 80 children. Suffice means be enough. Be enough. Oh, you have been waiting for the last 4 days. Fine. Answer is A. I think you guys have got it right. That's really good. You have to read the entire clause, the passage, to understand the context. This was somewhat similar to the one reported from UP a couple of months ago. In the earlier incident, a video showed plain chapatis being served with salt. The two videos made it to the national media. They also proved useful for the officers who react, negate, supervise, unify. Officers who supervise the midday meal scheme. Obviously, answer is C, an easy one. What is this? Please go to the next one. Please don't bring new questions. Whatever I bring here, based on that, you can ask questions. New questions, if I start answering, I won't be able to spend time on the questions I usually bring, and the purpose will be defeated. I don't want that to happen. Each such revelation leads to the same what? Amalgamate, reflexive, or official statement. Each such revelation, people come to know about something bad, leads to the same official statement. Amalgamate, to mix, to gather, not relevant. Reflexive official statement, spontaneous, hold this word. Applicable official statement, not correct. Unlikely, no. Answer is reflexive. Unlikely official statement, no. Punish the guilty, locate the video maker and deal with him or her. Not unlikely. Unlikely is not the right word. Here we have to use reflexive official statement. What does it mean? They respond spontaneously, immediately. Reflexive is the right word. In the latest midday meal story narrated above, authorities in UP have reportedly done the needful. Permit needful, annihilate, destroy or remove completely. Customary, stride, take something in your stride, take something positively. Here, customary needful means for the sake of it. Customary presents for the sake of it. Answer is C. Those are the questions based on 5 questions based on 6 questions, I suppose, based on the close test. Remember your score. The last 5 questions, 17 to 21, based on the para jumble. This is again from one of the previous year's papers, IBPS clerk prelims. First, when it comes to para jumble, take the elimination approach and try to get the first sentence, the sentence with the main idea. Then everything falls in place. Crucially, this any sentence or any part with a demonstrative pronoun or adjective cannot be the first one. So ruled out. The total income that was distributed by the BCCI among players is reduced, but this cannot be the first one. The total income, the total, again the definite article, the television viewership for the game has dropped 40% to a weekly 61. Perhaps you can consider, but go to the next one. A board of control for cricket in India official said, however, cannot be, that this was demonstrative adjective or demonstrative pronoun cannot be the first one. What is this about? Cricket seems to be losing its crowd pulling power. Answer is E is the first one. Cricket, it's all about crowd pulling power of cricket. Cricket seems to be losing its crowd pulling power. And to substantiate, you need E is the first one. How can we say it is losing? You need a sentence to substantiate. Usually writers they make a statement and they try to substantiate by giving an example or by providing facts and figures. So based on that, crucially, this loss of sheen. Look at the parts carefully. Is it EA or EC? Here it says crowd pulling power. Television viewership for the game has dropped 40% to a weekly 61 gross rating points. I think it should be EC, not EA. How can we say it has lost or it is losing crowd pulling power? This is a sentence to substantiate. And crucially, this is a loss. Based on that, this loss, easy to make out. This loss of sheen, crowd pulling power, based on that ECA. ECA is one group. Losing something and substantiate facts and figures. And this loss, where is it reflected? They all fall in place. Line of thought. Continuity is there. After that, reflected in account books. So, account books related sentence the total income that was distributed by the BCCI among players is reduced because of lower income from media rights. So, B is the next one. And the last one, a board of control for cricket in India official said, however, that this was because India wasn't playing enough at home. The reason at the end BD. So what is the correct order? ECABD. One group BD. Not exactly a group, but BD. They fall in place. Let us go to quickly. We have only 1 minute. If you want me to continue, I will continue. Editorial vocabulary, but you have to respond quickly. Board, verb. By hook or by crook. Board means what? Sign of something that will happen in future, either positive or negative. So here, see debris, noun, scattered pieces of rubbish or remains of a flight, a plane or a ship. F is the answer. Chaos, noun, chaotic, adjective. Complete disorder and confusion. Compound, verb. In this context, make worse, compounded the problems, made the problems worst or bad to worse. Vagaries, noun. Unexpected and inexplicable change in a situation or someone's behavior. D is the answer. Disrupt, we have got so many times. Interrupt by causing a problem. G. Drought, noun. Sign, prolonged period of no rainfall. No rainfall for a long period. Drought. Adhere, stick to. Adhere to. Verb, follow the practices of. Both mean the same. Perish, verb, die suddenly or violently, especially in a violent or sudden way. Answer is E. Debilitate, an important word, verb. Make someone very weak. Where is it? Make someone very weak. Yesterday you got 10 words. A revision of these words quickly. Here, if one student responds, then I'll tick that one, I'll go to the next one. What is the meaning of spirited? Spirited battle, spirited fight, spirited effort, typical combinations. And if someone says, I've got all the 10 correct parts of speech as well as meanings, that's wonderful. Spirited means what? No one has responded. A lot of enthusiasm, energy, and enthusiasm. Very good, Tapa. Ulterior, what does it mean? Ulterior motive. Ulterior, that's an important word. Good. First one is over, enthusiasm. Second one, ulterior, no one has responded. Selfish, hidden. Ulterior motive, selfish motive or hidden motive. Deliberate, open, intentional. Very good. Gross or gross. In the context of the editorial, something obvious and not acceptable. Hidden, not acceptable. Something not acceptable. Different meanings are there. GDP or different meaning altogether. Lapse. Lapse means what? Lapse of a particular procedure, lapse of a particular process, lapse. Yes, of course, but what does it mean? Forget, to judge something or to do something. Failure of doing something or judging something. Undue, undue importance to someone. Failure of judgment. Very good, Shravani, that's right. Undue importance to someone. Don't give undue importance to someone. A typical example. So undue means what? Temporary failure to judge something or do something. Govardhan. No one has answered. Undue. Undue respect, undue importance means unwarranted. Very good. Who is this again? Shravani, first one to respond. Unwarranted, unwanted, excess, not deserving. Kickbacks, easy to answer. Kickback means what? Kickback singular, kickbacks plural. Easy to answer, but no one has responded. They have received the kickbacks. The minister has received the kickbacks. Means bribery, bribe. How come no response? Clandestine, very good. Bribe. Clandestine operations. Clandestine means done secretively. An important word. It goes with effective English. Clandestine activities, clandestine operation, secretively. Probe. Probe, it goes with police. Investigate. But probing nature has a negative connotation. Probe means what? Investigate. And tarnish, tar, someone's name or someone's reputation. Damage someone's name or damage someone's reputation. That's all for today. It is 9:05. Thanks for being with me and have a nice day. Do remember to subscribe and share. And after the session, you can go to the description of the video. There are two links. One link goes with Murthy's English Telegram group, the other one, Murthy's English app.